Well, good evening, everybody. Michael Soothing here again. You know what we're going to do today is we're going to look at what does it take to make a nice looking polished agate or jasper. And I'm kind of obsessed, as you will see in some of my videos, you're going to find I'm kind of obsessed with geology. I like to collect specimens, and I like to find them myself. For example, this thing, you see it's got a lot of little lumps and lumpiness there, kind of interesting. But if you backlight it like this, it's got a lot of different beautiful colors in it, you can see there. Quite interesting contours. This would have been made in a cave someplace. And close by here, because we got it at the beach, not far from where I live, on the coast of California. And another typical specimen that's interesting to me would be a jasper, which is not translucent, but is opaque. And here's an example of a nice jasper. If I turn my little light on and show it to you, maybe I can light it from a different direction here. It's got some red and some black and some white and a lot of nice colors in it. Well, it's not an accident that this thing has a nice shiny contour and smooth surface, which is pleasing to the touch, by the way. These are very, worry stones, people hold them, and they hold the two of them together, or they hold one, and when they're tense a little bit, they might rub it, and it relaxes them, okay? So a lot of these agates are like that. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you what it takes to make these in a tumbler. And so today we're going to start with step 1. And it's going to take me about 5 weeks to tumble these agates and make them into a nice, shiny, polished, rounded, smooth, beautiful, semi-precious stone. So let's go ahead and begin. And then a few weeks from now, I'll post this video when we're all done, and you'll see all the steps. And hopefully this will be relaxing for you to check out. All right, everybody, so I've got everything here that I need to start our first batch of tumbling rocks that we found at the beach in a secret location. And these would be jasper, agate, maybe some quartz, and other rocks in that family. So I have here my tumbling bucket, my tumbling tub. I just rinse it out, that way it's all wet and shiny. I got various constituent parts of it that we're going to show you. I'm going to show you how that works. So we have the rocks that we found. Now most of these haven't seen a tumbler yet, but you can see a couple shiny ones are reject from a previous batch. So they'll go back through the tumbling. They have flaws like cracks in them or things like that, or little holes, and so they're going to go back through, but the rest of these we found in a recent trip to our secret beach. All right, so those are the rocks. Then we have other important things. I've got some fill rocks here. If you want a good result, you have to put in some small stuff as well as large rocks so that you can get a proper grind. When you're in the tumbling, this is a 5-step process. It takes about 5 weeks. We have some grit here that we're going to put in. I'm going to show you how we figure that out. And of course, as we're going, since throat's still a little scratchy from cold season, very important tool for this process, water to sip on, right? A little bit of water. Excuse me while I take a little drink of that. And most important tool of all, in case our blood sugar gets low, got some semi-sweet Nestle chocolate bits here. Somebody made a batch of toffee around here lately, and so we got this here. So let's start by putting our grit, the tumbling grit that's going to smooth out these rocks, we're going to put in here. So here's the tumbling grit, and we're going to have to open this. Now the important thing here is to put in about the right amount. We're going to tumble like 5 pounds of this rock, 4 pounds. We put in about 2 big spoonfuls for each pound. So we'll put that right there. Now it's really important that we don't get any grit around this rim, because if even one little piece of grit gets around this rim here where the top cover, see the top cover going to go in there, then it's going to screw things up. It's going to make a little edge, a little hole that stuff can come out and water come out during tumbling process. This first stage is going to go for about a week. Alright, so I'm going to be very, very careful how I do this. I'm going to put about 10 of these spoons in. So 1, and I'm going to put my hand in the way in case any little pieces fall. Don't want them to fall in this rim. 2 and 3 and 4. This is real coarse grit called 30 grade 5. Is that 5 or 6? I don't know. Maybe you counting for me. 7, 8, just a couple more. 9. Okay, really you're supposed to put like a level tablespoon. Excuse me, voice a little scratchy. Time for this, very important. All right, there we go. Now you don't ever want any of this to go down the drain when you're rinsing your rocks later. So we're not going to let that happen. All right, so we'll put the grit aside for now. And we'll put this over here. And I'll show you the kind of rocks that we get at the ocean. Let's pour these out. Excuse me if it's a little bit noisy. And I think I just dropped one on the floor. But I'll retrieve that one. Hold on for a minute. Where did it go? That one was an escapee. We'll find it later. So here we have all of our rocks. And I'm going to go get a flashlight so that I can show you that even though these just look like normal old rocks when you first look at them, some of them are agates and they're translucent with beautiful colors. Alright, I've got my little flashlight now here, little stream light. If I shine it on these rocks, you're going to see that they have some colors. They're kind of hard to see when they're dry. For example, let's soak this one in water for a second. And you see, now you can actually, this is too bright. Let's see if we can do it indirectly. And see if you can see the colors on that. I don't know if you can see them or not. But when this gets all tumbled and shiny, it's going to have some really nice colors. Here's another one. Doesn't look like much until you soak it in. Actually, I have a flashlight here that's not as bright. Let's see if this will work better to show you the colors on this thing. Yeah, I think that worked better. Not so bright, won't overwhelm the camera. And that's a red jasper. And we have other things here that I think if we put the light underneath it, you can see it doesn't look like much till you put the light underneath it. Then you can see there's some beautiful colors that come through here. Don't think you're going to get it with this camera the way you would with the naked eye, but a lot of them like that. Just look like a regular old rock, right? And we put it up to the camera and you can see it's translucent. And I've got all different kinds like that. This one just looked like a piece of white quartz or something, and actually that's a jasp, like a jasp agate. So we have, here's a piece of almost like rose quartz there. Let's see if I get it close enough. Maybe you see the color. I'll get it indirect a little bit. Overwhelming the camera's sensor. And let's see if this one, how about this one? Well, this is a nice one. See, it just looked like a regular rock. And we get the light under it. And you can see it's got some interesting colors right there. That's going to come out real nice after it's tumbled. And others of these are not translucent. Some of them are opaque instead of translucent. So like this one, again, just kind of look like a regular rock. But then if we soak it in the water and show you, then it's going to look like, after it's tumbled, it's going to have a more beautiful appearance. And we'll bring out the beauty of that thing. It'll look a little bit more like this, only better. Okay, so here's another red jasper right here. We'll soak that one a little bit in our water. And sometimes the jasper is red and orange. And they look a little like sandstone, but it's nothing like sandstone. It's actually a microcrystalline form of quartz. And so you can see we have all these different kind of our rocks here. So we're going to put those in our tub. And what you want for your tumbling tub, I can't resist this one. Let's check and see if this one is translucent, because it looked like it might be a beautiful one. Just looked like a regular rock. Yeah, see? Did we see? Maybe that's the one we looked at before. There's some others here. See, I get carried away because kind of an amateur geology buff. So let's see if we can get the color of that thing. Just a little bit there. That one doesn't show up so good, but going to be an orange. This is like a volcanic piece here. All right, so let's move these to the side like this. Put our bucket here that has the grit in it. And we'll start putting these in. This is a big piece of quartz here. Not normally a good subject for tumbling, but we're going to give it a try and see if we can make something beautiful out of it. So let's start putting all of these into our bucket. And what we want to do, I want to fill this bucket about 2/3 of the way to 3/4 of the way full. If you fill it too full, it's not going to tumble right. And if you don't fill it enough, it's not going to tumble right. So we have to do it just the right amount. And that's what we're endeavoring to do here. See, I'm like a kid, you know. I get distracted. Hey, this one was too beautiful. I have to show it to you up close here. What is it? Hey, that's going to come out nice when it's all tumbled and everything. Anyway, put that away. Got to get back on topic. All right, so we're going to put all of our rocks into the bucket. Now, one problem that we're going to have here is that these rocks are all pretty big. And quite often, when we do tumbling, we have smaller sizes than this. So, let's see what that. I'm going to show you each stage of the tumbling. It's going to take me a month to make this video, maybe 5 weeks, because that's how long it takes to do an entire batch from beginning to end. The reason I have all these little pieces here is that helps us in our tumbling. Those are little bitty rejects from previous tumbling batches. That's why they're shiny, because they've got some polish on them already. So we're going to put all this in. And what I'm noticing as I do this is we don't really have a full batch. I want to be 2/3 of the way to 3/4 of the way up. So I have some stuff out in my workshop. Let's see if I can show you the angle. I want to be about up to here, and I'm not quite up that high. A little hard to show you how full or unfull this is. Right now we're about halfway. Halfway would work, but I'd rather go 2/3 to 3/4 of the way. So we're going to pause for a second, and I'm going to go get some more stuff to put in here. Be right back. All right, here we are back. And as you can see, I went out to my workshop and I picked up a few things that I think will come out nice if we add them to this batch. So I got a few big ones here, a few big rocks, and I'm going to put them in with the rest. Another thing I got something here that I call zebras. I call them zebras, but what they really are is a type of petrified wood. The reason I call them zebras is pretty self-explanatory. They got stripes on them from the rings. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, you can see the stripe. They got stripes from the rings of the tree when they were being formed, and then they get petrified. So I'm going to put a couple of zebras. These come out really nice. They make a very nice polish. And so we'll put a couple of those in there. A couple of zebras. You can find those on a different beach. And then I got something else here. I got some extra rocks I haven't sorted through yet. Here they are. I'm just going to put a handful of these in. I don't know how they're going to turn out. And by the way, this is Mrs. Mikey's batch. And she wants to segregate the one she found. So we're going to try to keep hers all in one batch so that she'll see how her finds came out. Now the problem we have, now we got about the right volume, but we have one more issue. And that is, we don't have enough small rock in here to make it grind properly. You need some medium, some large, some medium small, and some small. So I got here a bag of fill, which we also got at the beach. Now lots of small stuff. We're going to put a little bit of these small ones in, and this will help us get a really good result if I can figure out the difference between zipped and unzipped. Okay, here we go. There are times that's very important to figure out. All right, now I'm just going to put in a couple handfuls of this fill, and that's going to give us a very nice result later. I'll put in some of those. Just a little bit more, I think. And it's very nice if you have beaches you can go to get all this. Some people that are into the tumbling hobby have to buy all their rocks online. I would think about that as cheating, because I really want to find them myself. So the amateur geologist in me, I know the topography and geology of the region, and there's a lot. I know where the volcanic areas are. The volcanic areas in California and Oregon is where you find this stuff. Now I'm going to put this on pause for a second, because what I have to do now, and I don't think I'm going to take the camera over to show you, is I have to fill this up with water, but not all the way to the top. We want to go just to the very tops of the rocks, almost not quite to the top of the rocks. So be right back. All right, here we are back with our rocks. And as you can see, I didn't cover the rocks with the water. I only went just below the tops. And that's what you want for your first stage of grinding. They grind better if you don't have too much water in there. You want them rubbing on each other and rubbing on that grit. That grit's made out of a really hard silicone compound, which will take off the top surface of these and make them smooth enough to take a polish later. But we start with a very rough grit, and then later we use a medium grit, and then a fine pre-polished grit, and then we do our polish stage. Sometimes we have to repeat one of the stages, depending on how rough the rock is we start with. Now these have been smoothed by the ocean and by the rivers they came down in into the ocean. So a lot of them are going to be, it's a nice jasper, you know, jasp agate. It's going to, you wait and see, it's going to come out really beautiful later. All right. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. So what we're going to do to make a good seal, this is the top that's going to go on, but we want a really good airtight seal around here so nothing leaks out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my hand wet over here in my bowl of water, and I'm going to rub it all around here like that, and then I'm going to put it on this lip like this, and we're going to squeeze it down in there like that. All right, nice and tight. I'm going to check all the way around. Okay, that's good, good seal. Nothing going to leak out now, and that's what we want. This is going to grind on a motor for about a week. Maybe I show you it grinding so you can see what I'm talking about. Now we put this top here on to hold it in place. I'm going to push that down all the way around. Has to be really tight around the rubber drum, okay? And we put our washer on. This washer right here. This washer right here, yeah. I actually clean all this stuff sometimes. All projects work better if you start with clean equipment. Just like your car runs better after you take it and get it washed, okay? So now we put our knurled nut on here, and I screw this down really tight so that nothing's gonna budge and nothing can leak out of this thing. And that's about it for stage one. Later on we show you when we rinse these after stage one, put some different grit in. It gets a little bit boring. We might not show you every stage, but we'll definitely show you something in the middle, how we're doing it. And then we'll show you the final result after they're polished. And we'll show you how we sort them. They're not all going to come out good. Some are going to be rejects, and they're going to disappoint me, like a child who's gone off and gotten on drugs or something. You know, it's going to be like, hey, you got F's in school. You crazy rock. You didn't come out nice the way I was hoping after all this work, you know. So I'm just teasing about the children, okay? I've had lots of issues in my life. And anyway, so that's where we are with that. And I think I'm going to show you when I put it on the grinding, just so you could get an idea of what that's like. And that will be it for this video. All right, so here we are out in the workshop, messy workshop area. You don't want to do this, of course, in the house. We'll make way too much noise, okay? So we're going to put our tub on here, right in there, and then we're going to plug this, and you're going to see why you don't want to do this in the house. Keep it out in the workshop, okay? Here we go. Would drive you insane if you had to listen day and night to that in the house. So there it goes, doing its grinding thing. Alright, so now we're back, and you can see there's a little bit of complexity, but it's a pretty simple process. How we get our initial group of agates and stones going in the tumbler. And now I'm going to show you what we hope for an end result. We hope again for something like this. Let me see if I can light this a little bit, show you the colors a little better. Maybe it's too close to see the colors. Let's see here, or that will overdrive the colors. But anyway, we hope to get things like this. And maybe if I use this flashlight here, let's light it from this direction. Not really a true color, but nonetheless, you get the idea, I think. Maybe we'll have to show you this in natural light to really get the real idea. But so we get a lot of different. Here's another one. This is an interesting swirl pattern agate. Got different patterns and things in it. Let's flip it over and see the other side. And this one's translucent also. As you can see, you know, got some interesting colors if you backlight it. So these are the kinds of things that we're after. Hard to find. You have to know when and where to look for them this time of year. So there you go. This is the first segment, part 1 of our video on agate. And like I told you earlier, I have the most important tool here of all, which is some semi-sweet bits. But now that we put in all the steps, we have to have a couple of these, and that will get us to recover from all of our difficult labors doing step 1 of our agate tumbling. Don't mind me. Would you like a couple? I always like the way these bags sound when people are getting things in and out of them. To me, that's relaxing. And I kind of like the sound of my water bottle going on and off. That's relaxing. But the question is, how do I get somebody else to do this all day long? You know, like when I'm tense at work or something. I'm a busy rocket science job. And it can be very nerve-wracking sometimes. I manage a group of several people. But never mind all that off topic. For now, let's go ahead and give those rocks a week to tumble in their tumbling barrel. And then we'll take them out and I'll show you what they look like after step 1. Then we'll go through step 2 and step 3 and step 4 and maybe step 5. There may even be 6 steps. It depends on the group. So at the end we have a burnishing step. I have to grate some ivory soap. No other kind of soap will work. Only ivory soap. And we run them in that for 3 or 4 hours after the polish step. It kicks up the shine a little bit. Alright, so I hope this is going to be a little bit interesting to you. And we'll see what we're going to do next time. Take care, everyone. Be well and be soothed and relaxed.